Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 22 of my Southampton series. This is, of course, the pre-season episode, but before we get into it, I just want to go over last season a bit more in detail, of course. If you guys didn't watch it, which I don't really know why you'd be watching this episode if you haven't watched last season's episodes, but we started off quite well. We were undefeated apart from the first game of the EPL, and we went on a little unbeaten run for a while. Didn't really pick up too many wins there, but we had picked up some decent results, a few draws against some decent teams, and we looked solid. We'll say solid because it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad by any means. And then after that, I think it was a live com, might have been against Watford. Everything just went downhill. It's totally downhill. And I almost got the sack about 4 times, which I don't think has ever happened that often. I mean, I've been under the pump as far as getting sacked, I think, on my Ajax series for FM15 last year. That was for a different reason. That wasn't because of results. That was more to do with my squad harmony, because I didn't want to sell my best Dutch players because the whole series was based around them. Anyway, off topic there. And of course, we eventually bounced back and went on a pretty decent run towards the end of the season, picked up some massive wins against the likes of Arsenal, Man City, and Manchester United in the last game, which you guys saw in the previous episode. So that's basically how last season went if you haven't watched the episodes for whatever reason. And going forward into this season, we've had a half-decent pre-season fixtures, which I'll get into in a second. But first of all, let's get into the transfers. There's a bit of activity. We'll get into the outs first of all. We let quite a few players we'll let go of, to be honest. Romero, his contract ran out. We let him go. He was a bit of a shadow of his former self. He still looks solid, but as you can see, Racing Club have picked him up in the Argentinian First Division. Kalichi Iheanacho, of course, I mentioned quite a few times last season that Leverkusen had signed him on a Bosman. So yeah, he left on a free transfer to Leverkusen, and he is now worth 20.5 million in value. Safe to say I'm absolutely fuming about that. But anyway, moving on. Juan Iturbe, he was sold. We set that deal up with Boca Juniors for 4 million before the end of last season. Just kind of wanted to get him out of the club. He was complaining about first team football. He is still a very good player. Didn't really perform too well for me. His value's dropped a little bit even further. He's played 2 games and played very poorly for them. But as you can see, I mean, in that season he played very well. 2 seasons ago, 27 games played, 5 goals, 6 assists. But last season just wasn't performing well enough. And of course we brought Shaqiri in. We still got Kostic as well. There wasn't really any place for him. Mark Ngo, who is the Cameroonian left back we brought in quite a few seasons ago, still doesn't have his work permit. Got his first cap for the national team there, but yeah, he's back at Barreau until he gets that work permit. We then let Carrasco go, who played decent last season, but then kind of dropped off. And of course we brought Redmond in, so he was a little bit further down in the pecking order. And he was sold to Everton for 5.5 million. The next player is a player we brought in, Bessim. Oh, that's a shocking last name for me to try and pronounce. I think it's Skrillelj. We'll go with that. I might just call him Bessim. But Bessim Skrillelj was brought in for 4.5 million from Fortuna Düsseldorf. And of course, we loaned him straight back out to them. They basically just wanted him loaned straight back for the season. So we did that, and as you can see, his stats are still going up quite nicely. He's played a couple of games. They did get relegated from the Bundesliga last season. He actually played 33 games for them in the Bundesliga. Played quite poorly, but that's okay. I like the experience, and he's only 19. We brought him in for 4.5 million, as I just said before, and he looks like a decent player. Of course, he's going to try and be the replacement for Katembwe, but I don't really think anyone can replace him, to be honest. There was one guy, but yeah, he was bought by some of the bigger teams. Well, a lot of the bigger teams were interested in him. Anyway, Lawrence Patton, the guy we brought in last season, we loaned him out to Inverness. we'll see how he goes. I'm not too sure about him. We've got an abundance of centre backs, so we actually brought another one in. I'll go into in a second. So yeah, just loaned him out to Inverness. Hopefully he gets a bit of first team football there, and we'll see how his development goes. Ryan Seager, player that was at the club at the beginning of the series. Pretty much just been a bit of a journeyman, really. Just been loaned between Scotland and England, a lot of different clubs. Actually played quite well in the 2 seasons he was at Aberdeen. I think he might have racked up something like 37 goals in 2 seasons for them, in the league as well. But we just decided to let him go. I've got a lot of strikers, and I just need to play them, and we only use one striker in our tactic at the moment, so yeah, he had to go. 7.5 mil to West Brom, not too bad. Hopefully he doesn't punish us, but I always get that underlying feeling when I sell a player to a team in my own league that they're going to come back and bite me in the arse in the future. And the final player we let go of was Cenk Viral on loan to Deportivo de la Coruna in the, I think they're in La Liga. I'm not too sure. Let's have a look. Yeah, they are. They're in La Liga, so hopefully he gets a bit of first team football. As you can see, his stats are increasing, but he hasn't played for them yet. So hopefully that goes well for him, because he does have pretty decent stats. He's also got a cap for the Turkish national team as well. Okay, so the transfers we brought in: Ravel Morrison on a free transfer from Bordeaux. Looks a very, very decent backup central midfielder. Of course, we let go of Myers last season, or we didn't really let go. He was more forced out of the club by release clause, I suppose would be the correct saying. So he's a backup. Of course, we're going to go with Balic in the first team. We've got Ogon B as well, who is probably ahead of him in the pecking order, but we'll see how we go. And he might actually start today, because Balic is actually still away at the Olympics. Kevin Trapp, PSG's first team goalkeeper from last season. We brought him in again on a free transfer. He's not really full first team, is he? I guess, I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, very, very solid goalkeeper. German, 30 years old, already worth 9 million. He looks like he'll probably be our first team goalkeeper. He's played quite well during pre-season. And it looks like he's ahead of Szczesny in the pecking order now. And of course we actually brought in another goalkeeper, which I'll get to in a second. Alan Halilovic, of course the Croatian that signed with Barcelona, I think it was 2 seasons ago in real life. He looks pretty decent. We got him on a free transfer as well. 24 years old, quite young still. It's worth just over 9 million in value as well. Looks pretty decent. Will probably just be the backup right winger behind Shaqiri. Hopefully Shaqiri has a decent season under us. The next player is Tomislav Dimitrovic. I think that's Red Star Belgrade. He was brought in 600k, very cheap transfer, 19-year-old goalkeeper. Looks very good. He's pretty much as good as Trapp, stats-wise. And I think he has the potential to be a very, very good goalkeeper in the future. 3-star potential, 2.5-star current ability. Lots of clubs are actually after him on loan. I rejected most of the interest, but I accepted Celta de Vigo. They're in La Liga, and they offered him first-team football, so yeah, I had a look at their squad. They don't actually have any goalkeepers that are too impressive. I think they've got a 35-year-old and a 21-year-old who looks quite shocking. So hopefully he can develop there, get some first-team football, and potentially replace Szczesny going into next season. The next player we brought in was Marian Preda from Universitatea Cluj, of course their Romanian team. And we brought him in for 4 million. Lots and lots of teams are after this guy, and yeah, I just decided to throw my hat into the rink, and yeah, offered him 10k per week contract ahead of the likes of Real Madrid, Manchester United, City, Arsenal, Barcelona, I think are in there if I haven't mentioned them already. Lots and lots of teams, high caliber teams, are after him. He looks pretty decent physicals, not too bad. Very, very good mentals, and he's lacking a little bit in the technicals, but that's okay. Already got 5 caps for the Romanian national team at 18 years old. Definitely going to be a decent transfer for the future. And the final player, of course, I mentioned him already, Besim Skriloge. Yeah, no chance. We'll call him Besim. Yeah, he was brought in for 4.5, as I've probably mentioned about 3 times now. Okay, so going into the fixtures, pretty decent pre-season, I suppose. Not really. Um, we opened it with our tour of America, tour of the USA. Orlando City, one of the teams I'm very familiar with. Of course, I did a series on them on FM16, so we beat them 2-0. Balich and Redmond on the score sheet for us there. A 0-0 draw with the Seattle Sounders, who are a very good team in real life. We then versed New York City as well, another 0-0 draw at Yankee Stadium. Got smashed by River Plate 3-0. Very disappointing game. You got Van Dijk on a 6.3 there, quite poor by his standards. We then drew 1-1 with Boca Juniors. Of course, Nathan Redmond opened the scoring for us, and then who else but Juan Iturbe getting the equaliser in the 86th minute. We then lost to Barcelona 2-1. Suarez and Neymar on the score sheet for them, and Van Dijk for us in front of 78,000 people. We then beat Linfield 4-0. Franson, Eckhart, Eza and Kostic on the score sheet for us there. And our final pre-season game was against FC Montreal, and Diakate and Franson getting our goals there. Of course, today's live com will be against West Ham. We'll get into the lineup here today. Tottenham have already beaten Manchester City. Of course, Tottenham are the defending champions going into this season, finally pipping Man City to the title. I think they won 4 in a row, I believe. Okay, so today's starting lineup will be Trapp in goals. We've got Mamana as the right centre-back, Van Dijk as the central ball-playing defender, Tom Aguila as the left centre-back. We've got Rodriguez as the left wing-back, Sakai as the right wing-back, Wanyama as our ball-winning midfielder, and we're going to go with Ravel Morrison, as I mentioned. We don't really have many other options. Of course, Ogun B is just coming back from his injury, but I thought he was actually still out injured. A bit worse than that. But Balich is at the Olympics. McCourt played a reserve game today. He probably would have been the first choice, but yeah, played that reserve game on 70% conditioning. So our only real option is Ravel Morrison. I thought about playing either Hurst or Eza, but I think we'll give Morrison a chance. So he'll play our deep line playmaking position today. We've got Redmond as the left inside forward, Shaqiri as the right inside forward, and Zivkovic up front. Hopefully he can continue his fine goal-scoring form from last season. And today's bench consists of Szczesny, Van Voorthuizen, Sen Emeterio, Nick Hurst, Leon McCourt, Halilovic, and Diakate. Let's get into the action, eh? And of course, Ravel Morrison isn't exactly match fit either. Give Halilovic his number 6 jersey for the season. And we'll get into things. Hopefully we can have a decent result here against West Ham. Probably not one of the stronger teams of the league. Not in the same category as the likes of Liverpool. Of course, we versed them in the first game last season, and they just beat us. I didn't really think we actually deserved to lose that game. But of course, we are the favourites here today. Hopefully we can have a good performance and get the win to open our season. And hopefully we can be on track this season to finish in one of those coveted Europa League spots at the very least. I know I said that at the start of last season, and that didn't exactly turn out too well. But hopefully this season will be a little bit different, and we'll actually be able to put in a bit more of a consistent season. I think that's exactly what we need. Some consistency. We found that... Ooh, not a bad ball over the top there. But we found that at the end of last season, or towards the end of last season, at around March, I think was when we really kicked into gear. Won quite a few games, especially against those big teams I mentioned before. Oh, Zivkovic again. Oh my god, how have we not scored there? Zivkovic had 2 shots straight at the goalkeeper both times. And it looks like we're actually dominating West Ham here. Shaqiri with the corner. Cleared away. Zivkovic will get to it though. Back out to Shaqiri, who brings it inside. Decent movement. Shoot! And that's another good save by their goalkeeper there. Jesus, we should be about 2 goals up at least. Shaqiri with another corner. It's cleared away. Okay, I'm a little bit worried because I want to try and get the opening goal as soon as possible. And we're only 15 minutes in, but Van Dijk's already on a yellow card. That's not the greatest thing to see. Shaqiri with the free kick. Tom Aguilar. Oh, what a goal. Tom Aguilar, one of my favourite players at the moment on this series, actually. He scored. I think he might have scored 5 or 6 goals last season off set pieces. It's pretty decent in the air. And he's actually got our first goal of the season, which I kind of didn't really expect one of our centre-backs to score a goal to open our account. But I'll take it. I will definitely take it. Okay. So we're approaching half-time. We've got the 1-0 lead, which is obviously the most important thing. I definitely wanted to try and get a goal in the first half, and we've done that, so I'm pleased. We've got Redmond here. Can we get our second? Dropping frame rates like crazy, and he's shot it wide. But as you can see by the stats, we are dominating them quite a bit. 12 shots, 6 on target in the first half. That's pretty decent. When tell the boys I'm pleased. But I really want to get a second goal there. It's quite important. And of course our stadium, St Mary's, looks very weird from the outside perspective now because of those stadium expansions we've done to it. Alright, so we're nearly 60 minutes in. I don't exactly want to change anything because I think if I change it, we'll probably concede. And yeah, West Ham have a highlight here. Noble to Rossiter. Cho Kyung-rook. Hamadala, and that's 1-0. Oh my god. How has he not scored that? I honestly thought that was straight in. But he hit the crossbar. How did he... It's harder to hit the crossbar than it is to score the goal there. But he has got the goal, eventually, anyway. Hamadala. And that's 1-0. Disappointing, because we have dominated West Ham so far in this game. And they've struck very lucky. They could have got 2 goals there. And we got Sakai. Crosses it forward. Zivkovic, 2-1. Get in. Brilliant little goal. Lovely cross by Sakai there. That was perfect. It was a picture-perfect cross. And it's Zivkovic, of course, last season got his 15 league goal bonus for him. Right at the end, actually. In that live com against Man United. Okay, I was going to make a sub, but I don't think I will. I was going to take Morrison off, but I don't really have anyone to replace him with because McCourt has about the same conditioning as him at the moment, so there's not much point. Although both of my central midfielders are on yellow cards now, that's another thing to think about. But Morrison back. Oh, Sakai, can he cross it? Yes, he can. Oh, get there, Redmond. 3-1. Okay, not bad. Redmond and... Oh, that's another assist to Sakai, isn't it? It's not? Who got that assist? Oh, yeah, it is. I just didn't update for a second there. Very good performance, though. I'm very pleased with this. We have actually dominated West Ham and scored 3 goals. I know we conceded 1, but what can you do, I suppose? I'm always going to concede goals. We all know that. Oh, that's a bit of a nothing ball. But that is the end of the game. A 3-1 victory over West Ham. Very happy to start the season off with a result like that. I'm not going to lie. It's been very hard over the last 5 seasons. I think this is our 6th season in charge of Southampton. So I think we've ever had a result like that in the first EPL game of a season before. So quite happy. And I just unlocked an achievement, unbeatable. So whatever that is, but there we go. Sakai, man of the match. Very pleased, of course. Trapp makes his debut. I think along with, Ravel Morrison also made his debut. But who really cares about that because it's Ravel Morrison. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap this episode up. I hope you have enjoyed it. I know I have because I'd love winning on these live comms for you. It is so disheartening to lose on a live com and just know you guys are going to see it in the next video. But very happy with this one, and hopefully that can be the catalyst for a decent season going forward. Anyways, guys, drop a like if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.